Hey, I'm Matt, and on today's Matt's World DIY, I'm making a delicious cinnamon roll hack. You're not going to have to slave over rolling the dough and yeast and all that kind of fun stuff. We're just going to take a can of cinnamon rolls and make them think that they're real homemade cinnamon rolls. So let's get to it. So the very first thing you need to do is get your oven set to 350 degrees. Then you can get started assembling this recipe. I'm telling you, these cinnamon rolls are the closest thing to making homemade. You know, whenever you make these cinnamon rolls straight out of a can, they taste like, they're okay, they're fine, it's a cinnamon roll, there's nothing special. Well, this little hack is going to turn them into something a bit more. They're not going to be exquisite gourmet, super duper cinnamon rolls, but you're going to definitely tell they are a level up. So I encourage you to try to make them. So what I've done is I've taken a half a cup of pecans, and I've chopped them up fairly finely. And so I'm going to have these, I'm going to put them in a bowl. And oh, something I was going to say. There was a thing I saw about how you scrape up things that you have chopped on your chopping board. If you scrape it with the knife blade leading, you're going to dull your blade. So instead, turn the blade to the dull side and use that side to lift your ingredients to move them either into a bowl or a pan or whatever. So I think that was a good hack. I wanted to share a good little tip that I wanted to share with you today. So now, next is something that's optional. If you like raisins, great. Use raisins. You know I love raisins, so I'm using raisins in my recipe. You don't have to use a whole lot, but if you don't want them... So my oven's ready. That's great. So if you don't want to use raisins, you don't have to. I have a question for you that I would like you to give me the answer in the description below. Put a reply if you know what they call raisins in the Great British Baking Show. What do they call raisins? I was like, what are they talking about? Is that something different? But it's actually raisins. So what is the word that they use for raisins? The Britishism for raisins. Anyway, I have them, and I'm not going to put them in with my nuts. I'm going to put them on top of my rolls whenever I put them in the pan. I'm just going to push them in a little bit. And to my bowl of pecans, I'm also going to add a half a cup of brown sugar, and I'm also going to add some cinnamon. I'm not prepared today. I did not get all my things ready. I thought I did, but I guess I didn't. And now that I have my spoons, you want to put a teaspoon of cinnamon also into your bowl with your pecans and your brown sugar. You're going to add a 1/4 cup of melted butter, or it's a half a stick of melted butter. So just put that in there. So we have that. I'm just going to use a spoon and mix up my cinnamon, brown sugar, butter, and pecans. And this is going to go on top of those cinnamon rolls. So you'll see. This already looks really good. There's one more thing. We need vanilla. We need a teaspoon of vanilla. And I don't have it available, but now I do. It's just like magic. So put a teaspoon of vanilla in there. You know, it always raises the flavor level when you add that vanilla. Oh my God. I don't know if you've noticed, but the vanilla I use is Mexican vanilla. It's a bit stronger, but it has such a unique flavor. I learned about Mexican vanilla one time when I went to an ice cream place, and they had Mexican vanilla ice cream and just regular vanilla bean ice cream. And I was like, oh, I'll try that Mexican vanilla. It was amazing. I was like, this is so unique. And one of my favorite things to have was Mexican vanilla ice cream with junior mints. I would have them mix those two things together. That was so good. I liked it. Anyway, so a friend of mine brought me some vanilla from Mexico, and it's just amazing. Okay, I'm just going to set that that aside for a moment. I'm going to clean my board off and be right back. I just have a thing about having everything nice and clean and organized. Organized. I'm not organized today. Okay, and we're going to take just a regular can of store-bought cinnamon rolls in a tube and open these up, put them in the pan, and this is where another unique little thing starts happening. So get ready for the explosion. Does this scare anybody whenever y'all are opening up? Not too bad. Good job. Okay, so we're going to put these in the pan to cook, to bake, obviously. And you want to get them spaced out. Don't put them like with their edges absolutely together. You want to give them a little bit of spreading room. And there's another additional little tip that I'm going to have to share with you. You're not going to cook the lid on top of the biscuit. And then you want to take the frosting that they provide and hold that off to the side because we're going to be doing something with this. And you know what? I think I'm just going to do raisins on a few of these because I'm going to share them with people and they might not like raisins. So what I want to do now is take my cinnamon butter mixture, and it kind of solidified on me. So I'm going to actually pop that in the microwave just for a minute to help melt the butter a little bit better. So hang on. Just microwave it for about 20 seconds. That's what I just did. And now it's nice and liquidy again. So I'm going to take this and just spoon it on top of each one of my, I was going to call them biscuits, each one of my cinnamon rolls. I had biscuits for breakfast this morning, that's why. And just dollop them up really well. Okay, so I have that in there. What you want to do next is, and this sounds really odd, but take a half a cup of cream and pour that in between each one of these cinnamon rolls. Cover your pan with aluminum foil. Now it's ready to go into the oven at 350 degrees between 35 and 40 minutes. Remember that frosting we took out of the can right here? We're not throwing this away. Definitely don't want to do that. But we don't want to also use it on the cinnamon rolls as a frosting because they're already going to be so super sweet and that type of thing. So what we're going to do is put this in a bowl and we're going to repurpose it. That's all the rage these days, is repurposing stuff, right? So what we're going to do is, instead of using it as a frosting, we're going to make a glaze over our cinnamon rolls. So I'm going to take some of that cream that I had also and add it to the frosting, and just going to mix this up and make it a really fluid kind of a drizzle glaze to put over our cinnamon rolls. But look how this is turning now into this, still kind of looks like a very loose frosting. I'm going to add some more cream, and I really want this just to be very, very liquidy, very fluid, so that it can get into all the little nooks and crannies of the cinnamon rolls. And this looks great. This looks great. This is how I want it to look. You know what I'm going to do? I've decided to take some of my Mexican vanilla and put just a little drop in this glaze. All right, so the cinnamon rolls are out of the oven, and let's take a look at what we have here. You don't want to get burned. You got to be very careful. Whew, and there's steam. Oh my God, that looks great. That looks great. The cinnamon and the sugar and the pecans, everything, it's made like a nice syrupy type of sauce. It's kind of caramely. This looks super amazing. I'm gonna let it sit for just a second, and I'm going to bring some life back to this, this glaze just by stirring it up a little bit. So I'm just going to drizzle this over the tops, just like a nice little glaze. And In less than 5 minutes, this is going to be in my mouth. I can't wait. It's going to be so good. Have y'all figured out what they call raisins on the Great American, on the Great British Baking Show? Do you know that? Remember, put it in the comment if you know what it is and if you can tell me. Okay, my mouth is watering. It's just, this is going to be so good. If you make cinnamon rolls at home from a can, this is the way to do it because it's not a lot of extra anything to get this done this way. And your friends and your family and your guests, everybody is going to appreciate it. I hope you get a chance to make this recipe. And if you like this video, please go ahead and subscribe, and also check out my other videos I have on my baking playlist. See you next time.